Hi everyone, it's Paul Tilley and welcome to MR2200 Retailing. Today we're looking at Unit 1, Introduction to Retailing. In this unit, we will be looking at defining retailing and the basic retail concept, distinguishing between classifications of retailers, listing examples of issues, changes, and trends in retailing, discussing various elements of the retail environment, and describing the concept of retail strategy. This relates to material in Unit 1, Introduction to Retailing, and it is covered in Chapters 1 and 2 of your textbook. So in this introductory unit, you'll be introduced to retailing, the various forms of retail, and how retailers seek to thrive in the ever-changing retail environment. First, we're going to define retailing and the retail concept. Retail involves the sale of goods and services to the public in a relatively small quantities for use or consumption rather than for resale. So it's the stuff you and I buy. Canada had annual retail sales approximately $600 billion in 2020. Retailing is the set of business activities that adds value to products and services sold to consumers for their personal or family use. So the retailer, the store, would buy the product, put it on a shelf, and allow consumers to come and buy it. And the value added is really in consumers being able to get it right where they live. Retailers attempt to satisfy consumer needs by having the right merchandise at the right price, at the right place, in the right quantities, and at the right time when consumers need it. What are some of the basic attributes of retail and retailing? Well, retail links the seller to the end consumer. It also includes all the activities of selling, renting, providing goods and services to the ultimate customer for their personal, family, or other non-business use. In the channel of distribution, retailing is where the consumer meets the product. It's through retailing that the exchange occurs. And retailing creates value for the consumer in aspects of time, they can get it when they need it, place, they can get it where they need it, possession, they can actually get it, and form, gives them a right mix of quantity. Next to advertising, retailing is the most visible form of marketing. So retailing in Canada is a very big business. It's extremely important. Canadian store retailers grew 6.7% in 2017, the highest annual growth rate since 1997, reaching $588 billion. The increase was partially attributable to high prices as sales and volume terms were up 5.4%. Sales were up in every province, with Ontario up 6.4%, leading the way. Retail accounts for about 15% of the total employed labor force in Canada. And in Canada, Statistics Canada reports that retailing is a $500 billion a year business in terms of sales. Technology, particularly internet-based technology, is having a huge impact on the traditional retailer, Amazon, for example. In 2020, more than 2 billion people bought services and goods online, and that number is constantly growing. And Canadian e-commerce retail trade revenues in late 2019 totaled nearly $1.85 billion, growing rapidly. So a retailer's basic goal is to satisfy consumer needs by having the right product at the right place, at the right price, at the right quantity, at the right time when the consumer wants it. This is achieved through what we call the distribution channel, which involves a set of firms that facilitates the movement of products from the point of production, the manufacturer, to the point of sale, where the ultimate consumer buys the product. So if we think about retailing, we can think about the integration of retailing, how it connects all the pieces together. And really there's a couple ways of describing how it does this: horizontal integration and vertical integration. Horizontal integration occurs when a company expands its business operations by acquiring or merging with other companies in the same production stage. So for example, when a company buys a competitor. Okay, so we got one retail store buys another retail store to create a larger retail store. Vertical integration is when a firm owns or influences the members of the distribution channel. So in this case, a retail store, for example, can buy a manufacturer. So it's a different level on the chain, but the same ownership. And doesn't necessarily need to be ownership either. It's just it has a significant influence. So if they own a portion of, or if they have influence over, or if they're only one, that's a form of vertical integration as well, where one company really controls another member somewhere else in the channel. So if we look at the value created by retailers, retailers provide several value created functions for their customers, including providing an assortment of products and services, breaking the bulk, holding inventory, and providing service and various services. Providing an assortment of products and services is one of the things that retailers do. So retailer product assortment refers to the number and type of products the store displays or for purchase by the consumer. Assortment is measured in depth and width of product offering. So for example, a deep product offering refers to how many variations of a given product a store has. So if you go into a large electronic retailer, for example, they may have 25 different types of televisions there. That's what we call depth. Width is the breadth of product being offered, the high variety. You go into Walmart and you think of the number of items they have there, from everything from pairs of pants for men to bubble gum to health and beauty needs. That's a high width. In terms of breaking the bulk, this is the process of dividing up large shipments of goods, something that comes in on a tractor trailer, into more manageable quantities for the one package you're going to buy. So breaking the bulk can benefit customers by providing them with access to a wide variety of products at relatively low price and very conveniently accessible and workable for the customer. In terms of holding inventory, retail inventory ensures that retailers carry the merchandise the shoppers want when they want it. But we got to be careful to manage inventory so that we meet the customer's demand without running out of stock, while at the same time not having so much stock that we get a lot of dead inventory. In terms of providing service and services, retailers, they got to decide the level of service that they're going to provide to their customers. And really the options range from no service to full service, with some degree of middle ground there where most operators operate. The retail function also provides a social element. For most firms, the economic and moral benefit of emphasizing their greater role in society is ever present. So, for example, social responsibility. They not only sell products, but they provide jobs for the community. Or they not only run a store, but they run an environmentally friendly store. These sorts of things. They're used to describe the voluntary actions that a company does that are ethical, socially progressive, and environmentally progressive, and that in turn will help its overall business operations and its image in the eyes of the public. If we look at retail sales in Canada, I have a graphic here that shows how retail is broken down in Canada, and you can see that there's a great number of dollars involved in retailing in Canada. If you think about what sells in terms of what the big items in retail are, motor vehicles and parts are probably the most valuable. If we think about how we classify retailers in Canada, retailers can be classified in several ways: their store or retail type, the level of service offered, or the size and scope of their product line. Well, that's a quick review of the first objective. Next, we'll take a look at the classification of retailers. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please let me know. Join me in the next video.